Chapter 1. New Family. The morning after our safe, if it could be called, safe, return to Parth, my companions and I were enjoying a hearty breakfast together at our inn of choice, the Fairies' Song. It had been quite a while since we had last enjoyed Claire's homemade cooking. The nostalgia helped to make the well-balanced spread of freshly baked bread, corn soup, salad, bacon, and eggs taste that much more delicious. Of course, the Japanese cuisine in Terai had been a great delight, but Western-style cuisine was good too. It was nice that living in modern Japan had taught me to appreciate both in equal measure. Kel-chan, I heard that the Queen of Terai took a liking to you, said Claire with a warm smile as she brought over seconds of the corn soup for Sarah. Look at you, barreling right down the highway to success. News sure spreads fast. Who'd you hear it from? We just came back yesterday and she already knows? Ange-chan is going around telling everyone she meets. Every adventurer in Parth must know by now. I guess she was just that happy about it. Ange again, huh? She did the same thing back when I was promoted to rank A. I mean, I'd honestly prefer not to draw so much attention to myself, but having a friend who's so happy for me does warm my heart. Just to set the record straight, I don't have any intention of serving Terai. Being an adventurer and doing whatever I want suits me much more. Is that so? Then again, it's you we're talking about. I'm sure whatever you decide to do will go well. Now you're just making too much of me, I laughed. In fact, I had indeed been solicited by the Queen of Terai, Tsubaki-sama, but I wasn't remotely interested in taking her up on the offer. By the way, what will we be doing today, Master? Asked Ifil. Sarah lifted her head from her food. Right, we haven't talked about what we'll be doing now that we're back. So, what are we thinking? How about hitting a dungeon? I smiled wryly. We did just get home, so today will be a day off. I myself am going off to buy something after this. Oh my, exclaimed Claire. What's a rank A adventurer like Kel-chan going to buy? Could it be another cute slave like our Ifil-chan? Another S? What are you saying, Claire? And, our Ifil-chan. Ifil's mine. Is that true, Master? A man's got to do what a man's got to do, Gerard chortled. I understand, my king. What? No, don't be carried along by the flow of this conversation, Ifil. And Gerard, I'm thankful for your endless support, but please shut up for now. I'm not going to buy a slave. I already have Ifil, so why would I? Claire laughed. You two youngsters sure make me jealous. Ifil stayed silent and her expression remained unchanged, but her ears were slightly red and twitching about. Apparently, what I had said made her very happy. So then, what will you be buying, Kel-chan? Nothing much. Just a house. I see, just a house? A house. My very own dream house. There you go with your shocking announcements again. Do you have enough money? I am a rank A adventurer, after all. I have more than enough. Lately, pretty much all the quests that we'd been accepting were rank A and rank S subjugations. And the rewards for quests of those levels had 1 or 2 extra digits, thanks to which I'd actually met my desired budget. The reason rewards rose sharply for quests that were ranked A or higher was the difficulty of those tasks rose just as sharply. Rank B monsters could be handled by most Knight Orders, although the fight would be far from easy. To defeat monsters stronger than that, however, the country in peril would have no choice but to activate its greatest fighting strength, which would normally be tucked away as a secret ace. From the point of view of a government, adding a few extra digits to their expenses to have a mere adventurer take on that burden instead was a bargain. The point was, after Victor, the Black Wind incident, and the defeat of the evil dragon in Terai, I was practically swimming in cash. Almost all of it was currently residing within Klothos storage, as it was far too much to lug around myself. You were thinking of buying a house? Sarah asked in surprise. It's my first time hearing that. Oh, right, you hadn't joined us yet when we talked about it last. Eiffel, Gerard, do you two remember? Gerard scratched his head. When was this again? It was back when we had just reached rank B. At the time, we were far short of how much we needed, so it was basically just a pie in the sky. Eiffel, we went around Parth picking out properties we liked, didn't we? Though the idea sort of fizzled out after that. I'm afraid I don't remember it at all, my king. Well, I can't say I'm surprised. Gerard hadn't seemed all that interested back then. He's pretty much the type who's satisfied as long as he has somewhere to sleep. In any case, we're back in Parth now, and we have more than enough money for a home this time, so I'm thinking of looking through those properties again. Sarah's eyes lit up. I'm coming too. I want to see houses. Please allow me to come along as well. As I remember, we had narrowed it down to 3 places last time. Great. We'll go to the realtor to see if those properties are still up for sale. What about you, Gerard? Since everyone is going, I shall follow suit. Okay, then. Let's meet out front 30 minutes after breakfast. It seems like it was only yesterday that you came to my inn as a newcomer, but here you are, about to buy a house and strike off on your own. Time really does fly. Tell me when you've decided on a place, Kel Chan. This time, we have to properly celebrate the start of a new stage of your life. Thank you, Claire. I promise you'll be the first to know when we've decided. After finishing the remainder of our food, we split up to make our respective preparations before heading out. Hollow diamond, hollow diamond, hollow diamond, hollow diamond, hollow diamond, hollow diamond, hollow diamond. When we arrived at the realtor's office, the staff member on duty stared at me. After a few seconds of silence, he promptly rushed into the back of the store, shouting, "Booze SSSS," at the top of his lungs. A middle-aged man, the store owner, presumably, came out a moment later and informed us that he would be handling our case himself. Every aspect of his service was performed with the utmost courtesy and care. Clearly, being a rank A adventurer was a rather big deal. Unfortunately, 2 of the 3 properties that Eiffel and I previously had our eyes on had already been purchased by others in the meantime, so the realtor took us to check out the remaining property in person. Ah, this one. Indeed. You have a wonderful eye, Kelvin Sama. This is an estate that we recommend with great confidence. My king, the good man called it a house, but this is more of a mansion, is it not? Well, it's not too small. Good choice, Kelvin. I'm glad to see that your companions have taken a liking to it as well, Kelvin Sama. If I may be allowed to brag a bit, this is the largest property that our humble business is currently handling. Sarah's impression was, well, let's chalk it up to her being a former princess. This last remaining estate was on the very high end of the kinds of residences available in the city of Parth. Just as Gerard said, it looked like the kind of place that would house a noble family. The front gate has been unlocked, Kelvin Sama. Please let me show you around. When the gate swung open, the first thing that came into view was a garden graced with a fountain of clear, refreshing-looking water. Considering how spacious it was, the area seemed perfect for outdoor parties. When we stepped into the building itself, we were greeted by a grand foyer. As it was my first time seeing such an impressive sight firsthand, I found myself feeling slightly overwhelmed. In terms of layout, the first floor has a bath, a kitchen, a dining room, and 8 empty rooms. The second floor, accessible through the grand staircase in the foyer, has 7 empty rooms. There is also a storage basement. Gerard sent me a "Can you actually afford a place like this" look, but the fact was, I did have the funds to buy it. Furthermore, there was a very particular reason I had taken an interest in this house. I want to see the bath. The two other properties that we'd viewed the last time around had been very nice too, but only homes of this size or larger could afford the luxury of installing a bath. Apparently, there were secret hot springs in Tarai, but what with training the heroes and everything else that had happened, I'd never had a chance to visit them. Consequently, I was now seriously craving a bath. As you wish. The bath in this mansion is spacious enough for several people to use it at once. I'm sure you will love it. We were given a thorough tour of the place, after which we eventually ended up back in the lobby. And that is the entirety of the house, the realtor concluded. How do you like it, Kelvin-sama? I want to hear everyone's opinions. What do you guys think? The kitchen is quite wonderful. I am happy with this property, master. Of course E-File's highest priority would be the kitchen. From what I saw, the one here is at least on par with the fairies song. I'm glad it meets her standards. No objections from me, my king. I like that there is a big garden for me to train in. If Gerard is going to be training there, then I suppose I should reinforce it. I do have an idea about the training space, though. The farthest room on the right side is mine. Forget expressing her approval or disapproval of the place, Sarah's already gone ahead and chosen her room. I guess I can take that as an approval, right? I smiled wryly and turned towards the realtor. I guess that's that. We'll take it. And with that, I secured myself a beautiful new home only 3 months after transmigrating to this world. Hollow diamond, 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 hollow diamond. Immediately after purchasing the house itself, our group headed off to buy all the things we would need for our new mansion. Gerard parted with us along the way, as it was supposedly time for his daily training. Ephil and Sarah chose the furniture, which I temporarily stored inside Clotho along with the other necessities we were picking up. As we were currently inside the city, we had donned our Ephil-made casual wear instead of our usual battle getup. Ephil was wearing an unbelievably high-spec version of the white summer dress that she had chosen for our last date, while Sarah had on a Chinese-style dress. I swear I didn't force them to wear these because of my own preferences. Kelvin, do not lie. We'll definitely need this, Kelvin. That's the 5th time I'm hearing those words today. What would you even use a pendant from a souvenir store for? During our shopping trip, I could not let down my guard for even a moment, as Sarah would start badgering me to buy the most random things. The previous item had been a piano, of all things. We did indeed have plenty of money, but spending frivolously was not conducive to Sarah's education. I think we're still educating her, right? In any case, over-pampering her is not good. Nope, I'm not going to buy it for you even if you press those wonderful breasts of yours against my arm. I'm different from that doting father of yours. But it looks so curious and unusual. What a waste. Just about everything looks unusual to you. Be stricter about choosing what you actually do and don't want. All right. Sarah's personality was generally quite forceful, but for some reason, she would listen to what I said. I'm glad to have such an understanding follower. Master, should we perhaps purchase a few more sets of dinnerware in case we have to entertain guests? That's a good idea. Let's go and check some out. Sarah, feel free to pick out a set for yourself. Leave it to me. It'll be a piece of cake, she answered confidently with her hands on her hips, looking extremely happy. I'm glad that her mood improves at the drop of a hat. Well, I guess I could consider getting her a piano one of these days. She does have the performance skill at a pretty high rank, if I remember correctly. It would also serve as a nice piece of decor, so I suppose it wouldn't be an entirely useless purchase. Thanks to the recommended stores suggested by the realtor, we quickly proceeded to knock out everything on our list with an impressive smoothness. Of course, part of the credit also went to Ephil for having written out the shopping list beforehand, and to Sarah, for actually helping out properly during the second half of the trip. In short, we were all done by lunchtime. So, we've got everything we want? Yes, Master. We've acquired all of the essentials now. Klo-chan, thanks for carrying everything. I nodded in agreement. We're really glad for your help, Clotho. Without you, it would be a huge undertaking getting all the furniture inside. Thanks to the convenience of Clotho's storage, we wouldn't have to bother with the task of lugging furniture through the front door and up the stairs. After all, we could simply walk into the room where we wanted each item to be placed and ask Clotho to remove it then and there. All that's left to do is grab our luggage at the inn, then. It feels like we've been in Claire's care for the longest time. Let's properly pay her our respects as new neighbors, too, added Ephil. After all, our house and the fairies' song are within walking distance of each other. Even after we settle down, let's go visit her from time to time. I've been thinking the same thing. Once we have everything sorted out, let's host a party to celebrate the new home and invite her along with the others. I'll be counting on you when the time comes. Yes, Master. I will do my very best. After all, Claire was Ephil's mentor and master in the ways of cooking. I was already looking forward to the plump proprietress's face when she took a bite of Ephil's food. By the way, Kelvin, interjected Sarah. Aren't you going to hire servants? Servants? We already have Ephil, don't we? You plan on making Ephil take care of a mansion that size all by herself? And she's coming along with us when we go on subjugation quests and dive into dungeons too, right? What will become of the house then? Oh, you have a point. Sorry, I haven't actually thought that far ahead. To think that I would be chided by Sarah of all people. But the concern she raises is valid. I'm in the wrong for assuming we would never have to worry about the housework as long as Ephil was around. If I work hard enough. Sarah shook her head. Ephil, keep the self-sacrificing to a minimum, all right? When it comes to Kelvin. You really do have a tendency to lose sight of everything else. She shot a look at me and added. Though, admittedly, part of the reason for that is Kelvin himself is clueless about a lot of things. I don't have anything to say in my defense. I'm sorry, Ephil, for almost having shoved such a heavy burden onto your shoulders. Sarah, thank you for pointing it out. I'm also sorry for having overestimated my own capabilities. Thank you for your consideration, Sarah-san. It's all good. I'm quite obtuse when it comes to the world myself. It's give and take. Sarah nodded as if it really wasn't anything of consequence. Wow, now she looks like a reliable older sister. Yeah, I was completely in the wrong this time. I'll go post a recruitment notice at the guild, then. How many people do you want, Ephil? I believe 2 would be enough. Gotcha. I'll arrange for it. If we're getting more servants, does it mean I should officially install Ephil as head maid? Guess I should give that a bit of thought as well. For now, let's grab our stuff from the fairies' song and say goodbye to Claire. Hopefully Uld will be there too. Hollow diamond, 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 hollow. When we reached the fairies' song, we found Gerard already there, digging enthusiastically into his lunch. The sight reminded us that we had yet to eat lunch ourselves. As for Uld, well, daylight was a precious resource for adventurers. Ah, there you are, my king. That was rather fast. Yeah, the shopping trip went smoothly. The only thing left is to retrieve our belongings. Did I hear that right? You've already found a place, Kel-chan? Asked Claire, poking her head out from behind the counter. We've gotten the key from the realtor. We're thinking of finishing up the move today. Today, huh? I'm very glad for you, but things sure are going to get lonely around here. We may be moving, but our house is literally just a few minutes walk away. We'll still drop by. Claire laughed merrily. I'll look forward to the visits. All right, this calls for a celebration. Ifil-chan, I'll be teaching you a special recipe. Come around to the kitchen with me. I immediately. In high spirits, both Claire and Ifil disappeared into the back. Soon enough, the sounds of vegetables being chopped and pots boiling filled the room. Oh, my, what a wonderful smell. Looks like lunch is going to be worth looking forward to, Sarah muttered. Anything made by Claire-san and Ifil is always worth looking forward to, isn't it? As for the rest of us, let's take this opportunity to finish packing our things. Sarah, I'm sorry, but can you take care of Ifil's stuff too? Me? Why don't you do it yourself? You two are sharing a room, aren't you? I think you probably know better than me where she puts everything. There are things like underwear and such, right? I'd appreciate it if you could do it, being a girl yourself. I don't think Ifil would mind. Don't you get to see her every night in her un? I clapped a hand over Sarah's mouth in a panic. What the hell are you saying in public? I thought my heart was going to jump out of my chest. I myself don't have that much luggage. Want me to carry everything, my king? We've got Clotho, so there's no need. We can literally just stroll over with empty hands. Oh, right, that is an option. In other words, Kelvin. I get the message already, so let me go. All right, I said, removing my hand and stepping back. And since no one else is going to do it, I'm going to pat myself on the back for understanding what Sarah's muffled noises meant. Gosh. You didn't have to get that embarrassed. You should be more conscious of this thing called public image, especially in light of how conspicuous we've become nowadays. What are you going to do if unsavory rumors about us start spreading round? Is that how it is? Aren't adventurers supposed to be conspicuous? Only in a good way. Just now was clearly a bad way. As we continued our exchange, Ifil came out with the finished meal in hand. All right, after we have lunch, we'll wrap up the last part of the moving process. Let's do this. Hollow diamond, hollow diamond, hollow diamond, hollow diamond, hollow. That was a revolutionary culinary experience. Who would have thought Claire still had such an ace up her sleeve, exclaimed Sarah. I have lived a long life, but that taste just now was a first even for me, Gerard agreed. We were heading for our new house after bidding farewell to the inn that we had grown so used to, and could talk of nothing but the secret recipe that Claire had passed on to Ifil. Apparently, Claire had known how to cook curry all along. It had been incredibly delicious, despite having been served with bread and not rice. Clearly, all of my companions had loved it as well. During our lesson, Claire-san mentioned that this curry dish originated in another world. Supposedly, the recipe itself was recorded in documents dating very far back. That means you knew of this dish all along, Kelvin? Well, yes, but I know literally nothing about cooking, so. Despite having transmigrated from modern Japan, I had pretty much no experience whatsoever with cooking. Reproducing a recipe from the mismatched bits and pieces of knowledge inside my mind was impossible, even at Ifil's skill level. In light of that, the Japanese cuisines that I had encountered in Tarai and Claire's curry were priceless treasures to me. Ifil, next time, let's have that curry over rice. It's definitely going to be delicious. The thought never even occurred to me. As expected of Master, Ifil looked at me, her eyes sparkling with respect. Muahaha, now that she knows the recipe for the curry itself, the rest is child's play. There are any number of ways to have curry, after all. Add Ifil's cooking skill to the picture, and we'll be set for life. As our starting point and destination weren't all that far from each other, we soon found ourselves at our new home. "I'm back," I said to no one in particular, stepping over the threshold. "Welcome back, master," replied Eiffel, ever the loyal maid. Sarah almost missed her step. What was that supposed to be? I just wanted to try doing that." "Thanks for playing along, Eiffel," I chuckled. "All right, everyone. First order of business. We have to decide on our rooms. As the realtor said this morning, there are a total of 15 rooms between the first and second floors. Before we start converting some of them to things like lounges and studies and so on, let's get the distribution of our own bedchambers sorted out first. The one farthest back and on the right is mine. Why the obsession with that particular room? 'Cause it's a corner room and has the most sunlight. A demon caring about sunlight? Moreover, most, rather than, least, sunlight? I have no particular preference. Please decide for me, master. With the amount of space we have, there's no need to hold back. Feel free to speak your mind. In that case, I think I, would like a room close to master's." Eiffel managed with a red face, averting her eyes. "What is this cute creature? Here, have some head pats." "All right, then. Guess I'll choose my room first. If you please." When I turned to ask Gerard about his preference, I found him giving me a big thumbs up. "Let's just ignore him." "Please don't ignore me, my king." Wow, such silence. I can't hear a thing. "I apologize, my king. I'm in the wrong." All right. So, which room do you want?" "That one's fine with me," he replied, pointing to one close by. "Really? Right near the front door? You sure about that? I don't really mind where it is as long as I have a place to sleep. In addition, the proximity to the main entrance will allow me to react immediately should any threats arise." "Oh, what a knightly thing to say. Guess we'll be counting on you if something does happen. Lastly, Clotho. Why?" Before I could finish my question, the slime had already altered its shape to point towards the door. "You mean, outside? But we have plenty of rooms." Clotho jiggled vigorously, giving the impression of shaking its head. "Master, Klo-chan is a monster who originally lived out in the open. I believe it is trying to say that, instead of living indoors in one of the rooms, being outside suits its nature better. Is that right?" Clotho skillfully indicated confirmation by contorting its body. "Well, this mansion did come with a rather sizable garden. Hopefully, it was wide enough for my buddy not to feel cramped." Thankfully, Clotho had plenty of common sense, and could be trusted not to cause much trouble. "Gotcha. Then use the garden as you like. Just tell me if you ever feel like you want a room, all right?" "What about you?" asked Sarah. "You haven't chosen yours yet." "Right, my room is." "Sarah, lass, is there even a need to ask? The bedchamber of the lord of a mansion is always in the same area, isn't it? Namely, the safest part of the property." "Oh, the one farthest back, on the left side of the second floor? I remember it being bigger than the rest. And the only way to get there is to pass by my door, so I guess it really is safe." Gahaha. I know, right? Which means Eiffel's room will be between Kelvin's and mine. "I would like that very much," Eiffel replied. She turned to give me a deep bow. "I hope to prove a good neighbor, master." "Oh, sure, me too." To be honest, I had actually wanted the room closest to the underground storage area, but I had completely missed the opportunity to say that. Gerard, who still hadn't learned his lesson, was giving me 2 thumbs up now. I could almost swear that his teeth were glinting with a bright smile behind his helmet. Sarah, who was copying Gerard by offering a thumbs up of her own, don't pick up weird habits from the grandpa, asked, "So, are we done with room selection?" "Yeah, let's move on to unpacking. Clotho, buddy, we'll be counting on you." Chloe-chan, let's start in the dining room, shall we? Ephil suggested, giving the slime a rub. Oh, right, I have to post a recruitment notice at the Adventurers Guild. Even so, it'll probably take some time before we get any applicants, so I've got to properly support Ephil until then. As for how much to pay the servants, let's ask Ange what the market price is when we drop by the guild. We managed to pull off the incredible feat of finishing our unpacking by the end of the day. I dove into the comfort of my new bed filled with a warm sense of achievement and promptly fell into a deep sleep. Visiting the guild was going to be a task for tomorrow's Kelvin to take care of.